everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So today I've got an update for you in regards to two of the most important Second Amendment cases currently sitting before the Supreme Court. These two cases are Snope v. Brown and Ocean State Tactical v. Rhode Island. Together, these two cases cover both the so-called assault weapons bans and mag bans, or magazine capacity limits. These two cases have been sitting at the Supreme Court since back in August of 2024. So let's go ahead and talk about what the Supreme Court just updated us with today. Now, real quick before we get started, this channel is proud to be sponsored by Attorneys on Retainer. I am with Attorneys on Retainer because I feel that it is the best program that you are going to find out there. There'll be links and discount codes down below. Look, if you carry to defend yourself and you're going it alone, you're doing it the wrong way. Having an Attorneys on Retainer membership is like having an attorney in your back pocket. Should the worst case scenario actually happen, you call the number on the back of that card, you speak to an actual attorney giving you instant attorney-client privilege, and they will be there to defend you. Attorneys on Retainer, who is backed by Attorneys for Freedom, just launched their new updated program last Monday, which now includes coverage for red flags, and they also offer things like online training. Now, if you are new, just go ahead and use that link and sign up down below. If you are an existing member, in order to get that new coverage, you are going to have to re-sign up. But it is a very smooth process. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be making a video next week explaining how to do it. Okay, so let's go and talk about what's going on here. So I typically update you on the status of both Snope and Ocean State on Mondays because these cases are conferenced on Fridays, and we can find out as early as late Friday, but typically on Monday, what the Supreme Court has decided to do with these two cases. Last week was a very busy week. There was a lot going on at the DOJ. There was a lot happening on the state level, and so I didn't end up updating you back on Monday, but those two cases were conferenced for this last Friday. That was the 9th time that these cases have been conferenced. As a matter of fact, they have been conferencing these cases since the beginning of December. Not only that, they were both rescheduled at one point where we waited 2-3 weeks for them to decide whether they were going to conference them again or if they were going to deny them. We didn't know what they were going to do, but these cases have been conferenced 9 times and rescheduled once each. So again, it's been a very, very long and very frustrating process. Now, I know that I have probably the smartest audience on YouTube, but just in case you're watching this, you don't know what a conference is. It's when all the Supreme Court justices get together and decide what they're going to do with all of the cases that are on the docket for conference that day. So they take the cases, they look at them, they decide whether they're going to accept them, deny them, grant, vacate, remand. That's when they decide what they're going to do with them. Then we find out again on Monday. So that's what we've been going through with these two cases up until this point. Now, I, for one, to be honest with you, thought we were finally going to get a decision from this 9th conference. There's no way that they're going to drag these cases out this long when it's a clear violation of the Second Amendment. Now, people have talked about circuit court splits, and there's no split, and so they might end up denying them. I'm thinking to myself, they had plenty of chance to deny him before that, right? They could have just simply denied it prior to that. Wouldn't have taken this long. There's just no way that they're going to make us wait. And so I thought for sure we were going to find something out. But guess what? Again, we didn't. Both of these cases have been reconferenced again. This is the 10th time now for April 4th. So this Friday, both Snope and Ocean State are going to be reconferenced. Now, this really has a lot of people scratching their heads, and that's because in the beginning, people were kind of making their predictions as to what the Supreme Court was going to do, and then as time went on, it became a little bit more confusing as to what could possibly be happening behind the scenes. We kept in mind that the Bruen decision, the Bruen case, wasn't accepted until the 6th conference, so it's not unusual for them to reconference things over and over and over again. And so, again, we were kind of waiting up until the 6th conference to see what they would do. That time is obviously come and gone by several weeks now, and we are on the 10th conference. So again, it has people baffled. What are they doing with these two cases? Because Snope itself is ready to go. That's a case that was already decided by the appellate court, who said that these so-called assault weapons are too similar to what's being used in the military, and so they're not even protected by the Second Amendment. They're not protected by the Constitution. For me, that feels like a very easy one for the Supreme Court to rectify. But then you have Ocean State, which is kind of an interlocutory case. It's a case that's, kind of still going on. It's working through an injunction and so forth. That's a case that the Supreme Court usually sends back down and says, when you're all done, go ahead and send it back to us. But typically they send it back down, and neither of these cases have been denied up until this point. And to my knowledge, there's been more than 1,000 cases that have been denied since these cases have been conferenced. So they have had the ability to deny them since the very first conference. And sometimes, we'll see hundreds of cases get denied in a single conference, and neither of those two cases have been there. At this point, it's just delaying people's rights. It's delaying people's rights because people's rights are being infringed by this. Millions of people are having their rights infringed in this manner. And every day that the Supreme Court reconferences these for another week, that's another week, another month, another year or more that these rights are still going to continue to be infringed. So I'm not super happy with the Supreme Court right now. I'm not really happy overall with what's going on in the government. I expected a lot more movement, a lot more things to happen at this point. But this is becoming absolutely ridiculous. Just talking as an average guy, enough is enough already. These cases need to be taken, period. Hands down, these are clear infringements, even without any type of circuit split. You don't need a circuit split to see that what's happening here is a violation of people's Second Amendment rights, and it needs to be rectified. And that's the only court that can do it at this point, because the appellate courts, just are not working on our behalf. So I wanted to let you know about that. It's kind of a nothing burger, but at the same time, it is the update that we were given today from the Supreme Court in both Snope and Ocean State, and I wanted to share that with you. Thank you all very much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Thumbs ups are always appreciated. Leave a comment down below about what you think about it, and you guys have a great day.